What if I told you that right now, at this very moment, you hold the key to unlocking a life so rich and fulfilling that when you look back, there won't be a single what if haunting your thoughts. Imagine closing your eyes at the end of your days, smiling because every step you took was intentional, every relationship nurtured, and every dream pursued with heart. My dear friends, that's not just a fantasy. It's within your reach. But here's the surprising truth. Living without regrets isn't about erasing mistakes or chasing perfection. It's about embracing the imperfect beauty of life through deliberate choices. Today, as your guide and fellow traveler on this journey, I'm going to reveal 3 profound secrets to living a life of no regrets. These aren't lofty ideals or unattainable feats. They're practical, everyday principles drawn from the wisdom of those who've walked this path before us. We'll explore them deeply, with stories that will touch your soul and insights that will light your way. So, settle in, grab a cup of tea if you'd like, and let's embark on this transformative conversation together. Your regret-free life begins right here, right now. Let's start with the first secret. Choosing courage over comfort. You see, as we enter our later years, whether you're in your 50s, 60s, or beyond, it's all too easy to settle into familiar, the safe, the predictable. But the greatest regrets I've heard from people in our stage of life often stem from the roads not taken. The opportunities passed by because the comfort zone felt too cozy to leave. Courage, my friends, isn't about reckless abandon or superhero feats. It's about that quiet inner strength that whispers, "Go ahead, try it." Even when your knees are shaking, it's recognizing that growth happens just beyond the edge of what feels easy. To make this real, let me share a detailed story about Margaret, a wonderful 62-year-old woman I had the pleasure of knowing from a quiet suburb in Ohio. Margaret has spent her entire career as a dedicated librarian, surrounded by books that fuel her imagination, but never quite satisfying her wanderlust. For decades, she dreamed of visiting Italy, the rolling hills of Tuscany, the ancient ruins of Rome, the vibrant markets of Florence. Yet, fear held her back. Fear of flying across the ocean, fear of navigating a foreign country alone, fear of dipping into her modest savings that she'd earmarked for rainy days. She told herself, maybe next year. Year after year, as life's routines piled up, then tragedy struck. A dear friend passed away unexpectedly at 60, leaving behind a list of unfulfilled dreams. That loss was Margaret's wake-up call. She realized that waiting for the perfect time was a thief stealing her joy. With a mix of excitement and nerves, she booked a solo trip to Italy for 2 weeks. Packing her bags, she felt a surge of doubt, but she pushed through. Arriving in Florence, she wandered the Duomo, tasted authentic pasta in a family-run trattoria, and even joined a local cooking class where she laughed with strangers who became friends. The experience wasn't flawless. There was jet lag, a missed train, a rainy day, but it was hers. When Margaret returned, her eyes sparkled as she shared, "I didn't just see Italy, I rediscovered myself. If I'd waited any longer, I'd have regretted it forever." Her story teaches us that courage compounds. One brave step leads to another, building a tapestry of experiences that enrich our lives. So, how can you apply this? Start small. Identify one area where comfort is holding you back. Perhaps it's learning a new skill like painting or reaching out to a long-lost relative. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Often, it's far less scary than the regret of inaction. By choosing courage daily, you transform "I wish I had" into "I'm so grateful I did." This isn't just advice. It's a lifeline to a fuller existence. Moving to our second secret, prioritizing the relationships that truly matter. In the hustle of life, especially as we juggle careers, family, and responsibilities, it's tempting to let connections fade into the background. But when I speak with folks in their golden years, the deepest regrets aren't about missed promotions or material things. They're about unspoken words, unresolved conflicts, and time not spent with loved ones. Relationships are the heartbeat of a meaningful life. They provide comfort, joy, and a sense of belonging that nothing else can replace. Prioritizing them means being intentional, nurturing the bonds that uplift you, and gently releasing those that drain your spirit. Let me illustrate this with a heartfelt story of Tom, a 58-year-old accountant living in the bustling city of Sydney, Australia. Tom was the epitome of the dedicated provider. Long hours at the office, climbing the corporate ladder to ensure his family had everything they needed materially. But in the process, he overlooked what they needed most: his presence. His daughter, Emma, now in her late 20s, grew up with a father who was often absent from school events, family dinners, and those quiet evenings of storytelling. Tom justified it as building a secure future. But as Emma prepared to move away for university, the emotional gap became painfully evident. One sleepless night, reflecting on his own distant relationship with his late father, Tom decided to change. He didn't start with grand gestures. Instead, he wrote Emma a handwritten letter, a simple, 3-page note poured from his heart. In it, he apologized for the missed moments, shared fond memories of her childhood, like teaching her to ride a bike in the park, and expressed his unwavering pride and love. He mailed it, unsure of the response. To his surprise, Emma called the next day, tears in her voice, and they talked for hours. That letter sparked a new chapter. Weekly video calls where they shared laughs about daily life, advice on her career, and even plans for a father-daughter trip. Tom later confided, "I almost let work steal my most precious relationship. Rebuilding has filled a void I didn't even know was there." Now, every conversation feels like a gift. His experience shows that it's never too late to mend fences or deepen ties. Authenticity and effort are the bridges. Think about your own life. Who are the people who light up your world? Make time for them. Schedule a coffee chat, send a thoughtful message, or forgive a past hurt. And remember, quality trumps quantity. A genuine 10-minute call can outweigh hours of superficial talk. By prioritizing relationships, you weave a safety net of love that catches you through life's ups and downs, ensuring no regrets about the hearts left untouched. Finally, the third secret: living with purpose every single day. Purpose isn't some elusive grand mission reserved for the young or the famous. It's the quiet compass that guides your actions, giving meaning to the ordinary. Without it, days can blend into a monotonous routine, leading to that nagging regret of what was all for. But with purpose, even the simplest tasks become infused with significance. It's about aligning your life with what truly matters to you, whether that's contributing to your community, pursuing a passion, or simply being a source of kindness in the world. To bring this to life, allow me to tell you about Evelyn, a resilient 67-year-old retiree from the vibrant streets of London. After retiring from her job as a schoolteacher, Evelyn found herself adrift in a sea of empty hours. The structure she'd known for 40 years vanished, and she grappled with feelings of irrelevance. What's next? She wondered, as days turned into weeks of aimless routines. Watching TV, tending to her small apartment, occasional visits from grandchildren. Then, during a walk in her neighborhood park, she noticed a neglected community garden overrun with weeds. Something stirred in her, a memory of her own mother's love for gardening. Evelyn volunteered, starting with just an hour a week pulling weeds and planting seeds. It wasn't easy at first. Her back ached, and the weather was unpredictable, but she persisted. Over time, the garden bloomed, not just with flowers and vegetables, but with connections. Neighbors joined in, sharing stories over tea breaks. Children from a local school came for lessons on planting, and Evelyn found herself mentoring young volunteers on life lessons amid the soil. What began as a way to fill time evolved into a profound purpose, creating a space of beauty and community. Evelyn shared with me, "I thought retirement meant the end of usefulness, but this garden showed me that purpose grows wherever you plant it. Now, every bloom reminds me I'm still contributing, still alive in the truest sense." Her journey underscores that purpose evolves. It doesn't have to be world-changing to change your world. How do you find or reignite your purpose? Reflect on what energizes you. What activities make time fly? It could be volunteering at a local shelter, writing your memoirs to pass on wisdom, or even starting a book club with friends. Break it down. Set a small, daily intention like, "Today I'll make someone smile." Over time, these accumulate into a legacy of fulfillment. Living with purpose turns potential regrets into proud reflections, ensuring your story is one of intention and impact. My dear friends, as we wrap up this journey together, let's pause for a quiet moment of reflection. Think about these secrets. Choosing courage to step beyond comfort, prioritizing the relationships that nourish your soul, and infusing every day with purpose. These aren't just words. They're tools to craft a life where regrets fade away, replaced by gratitude and peace. Visualize yourself in the years ahead, surrounded by memories that warm your heart, knowing you live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love for you to share your thoughts. What part of this message spoke to you most deeply? What's one action you'll take today to move toward a life of no regrets? Drop it in the comments below. Your stories inspire us all. If this has resonated with you, please give it a like. Hit that subscribe button for more uplifting content and share with a friend or a loved one who might need this nudge. Every share extends this ripple of positivity further. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me today. Remember, it's never too late to start living the life you deserve. Until next time, take care and keep shining.